All right, what is going on, everybody? Today, I want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks and Damian Lillard and their current situation. There is some breaking news of sorts, not so much breaking, but very impactful news to the Bucks franchise and to Damian Lillard's career. I do want to preface this video with some Damian Lillard flowers, some accolades that he has: nine-time All-Star, seven-time All NBA selections, All-Star Game MVP, was selected to the 75th anniversary team, and a lot of hard work. A really good guy, um, and we'll get into all that stuff. I just want to put that right here at the beginning, because this is the type of videos I don't like to make, but I sort of have to make. If you didn't hear last night, or see last night, Damian Lillard did suffer an injury. Um, Maybe about 5 minutes left in the first quarter. He had just returned from the blood clot situation that he had had. In a miraculous turn of events, it's usually month-long injury, multiple months, I should say, injury. He returned. He didn't play so good the last couple of games of the game that he played, and then this game he wasn't looking too good either. And then standard play, non-contact injury. He falls down. He grabs his Achilles, grabs his ankle sort of area first, and then his Achilles area. And I think everybody sort of knew what it was. If you've watched any basketball for any length of time, there's always that thought that like this is an Achilles injury, but they go to commercial, whatever. They play a video of him getting up, walking on his own free will. So my thought process was, oh, he just strained his Achilles, because he did have a strained Achilles before, um, and some things go on throughout the game. The Bucks go on to lose that game, um, and no, the broadcast they really didn't talk about it till like the very end of the game. And Chris Haynes reported, um, the fear is this is 16 hours ago, so this would be pull up uh, at 10:20 at night. Sources: the fear is that Buck star Damian Lillard has suffered a left Achilles tear, brutal circumstances after working his way back from a blood clot diagnosis that kept him out for over a month. This was the initial report that maybe it was an actual tear of the Achilles, not a strain, not anything like that, right? And then Chris Haynes and Shams Charania, both reputable reporters, confirmed today, about 40 minutes ago to an hour ago, that he suffered a torn Achilles. And yeah, before we get too deep, I just want to say, if you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment them down below. Just like the vibes, consider subscribing. This is the first video I'm making today. I wanted to make another video about the playoffs. This video is going to come out on Tuesday, so I'm recording this the day after this is reported, or the day of reporting. This is going to go out the day after, on Tuesday. So, um, if anything happens between when this video is recorded and when it comes out, it is what it is. But this is just such a impactful thing, um, for the Bucks and for Damian Lillard, obviously. This is the first video I wanted to make today and talk about it. And to be like quite candid and quite like frank and all those words, um, the thought around NBA circles and everything is that, um, this is it for Damian Lillard. This is it. The guy is he's 12 years NBA experience. He's gonna be 35 in a couple months. His birthday's in July. Um, he's gonna be 36 when he comes back from this. And the thought is, and you never want to be negative about things, but these are just the facts. Um, these are things that happen within the sport of basketball and a lot of sports. Is that the one thing that you never want to happen is that, um, your Achilles goes. It's the Achilles, it's the ACL, it's the MCL. it's these injuries, these tendon injuries that are very tricky, and even with all the modern medicine, don't really have a fix, and you're never really the same after. Um, it's hard to envision him playing at an all NBA level again. He was sort of, to use a more um, basic word, he was washed essentially. Um, these last couple years, these last 2 years in Milwaukee, last year and this year, he was looking a bit washed. Um, he did play 73 games last year. He only managed to play 58 this year, and there's a bunch of stuff we can go into. I'm gonna try to keep my thoughts on right now, and then we'll look back and look forward. But this is really it is a tough blow for Damian, who uh, really loves the game. There are a few people that I've watched this game for over 10 years now. This game of basketball, the NBA, for 10 years now, and there are very few guys that you can tell really love the game, um, and put it all out there, give it their all, and just love playing the game. They play the game their way. They carve their own lane and all that stuff. And Damian had done that throughout his career, um, and he this season was a tricky one for him. I'm looking through his game logs right now. He's had a couple 30-point games, uh, probably a lot less than he would have liked to have. Um, I forgot he's an NBA Cup champion. I forgot. His highest scoring game this year, it looks like it was a 40-point game, 41-point game against Cleveland in a loss. It was a 2-point loss this season. And oh no, there's a 43-point game here against Philly that they won. Okay. Um, to sort of look into the implications right now, right in this moment as I'm recording this, the Bucks are down. Where's the freaking bracket? The Bucks are down 3-1 to the Pacers. I had the Bucks winning this series. I thought it was going to go seven at least. Um, I think I made that prediction even when Damian Lillard had the blood clot thing. But they looked bad. The Bucks look bad. The Pacers look like they've taken that next step. They've had enough experience. Um, they've played these guys enough to know what they like to do. Um, Obviously, Giannis, who we're going to get into in a moment here, is playing his butt off, and it's sort of a sad situation in Milwaukee right now because this injury effectively closes the door on any championship aspirations for this year, next year, the year after. And I talked about this. I'm going to repeat a lot of when talking about the Bucks and Giannis and everything, and even Damian. Um, I made a video about the whole blood clot thing, and I speculated. It was all speculation, but it was all sort of um, fortuitous that a lot of things I said in that video still apply now. So if you want to hear me say some similar things, you can click the video. I'm going to put it in the top right corner. Just click on it. You can watch it again or watch it for the first time. I'm going to repeat a lot of the same things because I still feel the same way. That was only a month ago that I said those things. And I think this effectively ends their championship window. And the conversation, to wrap the conversation about Damian up and then moving to Giannis here, is that I don't think Dame's the type of guy to give up. Um, I think he's going to obviously get the surgery to repair his Achilles. He's going to work through the rehab. He's going to come back. He's going to come back, and I, I, I. This team is not going to be the same. This team will not be the same. Um, Damian Lillard right now is on the books for 102 million dollars, making 54 next year and 58 the year after that in 2026, 2027. That is a player option year though for him. He's going to miss all of next year, so 2025, 2026. 2026, 2027 is basically the year he's going to come back. Um, and when I say come back, I really want to, what's the word? Emphasize that when you have an Achilles injury, when you have an MCL, an ACL, any of these injuries that are tendon based or whatever, it's a long process. It is a very, very long process. Even though we've in the medical field and the rehab field, there have been so many advances that it's still the same stuff where you get the surgery, you heal, you you do some light movement, you get some movement back in your Achilles or your knee or whatever it is. Then you start putting pressure on it. Then you do more movement. Then you move on to different levels of movement, and it's very boring. From the interviews I've seen with people who have torn their Achilles, with people who have torn their MCL, ACL, it's a very boring process. It's a very mentally taxing process to just have to do the same thing for like a month. All you're doing is moving your knee or your foot back and forth, left and right, left and right. That's all you're doing for a month. And then if they think you've made enough progress, you move up, you put pressure on it, you do this, you jump, you run, you jog, you do this and all that. And even when you're done with that, there is the process of getting back on the court and doing it all at game speed, doing it all at a professional level. 2026, 27, 27, he might come back, but it's going to take that whole year for him to feel like himself again. And then we start getting into the late 20s, which is crazy to say, but the 2027, 2028 season, where he's off the books. He's no contract guaranteed after that year. Um, he's gonna be what is it? He's gonna be 37, dude. He's gonna be 37. It's an uncomfortable conversation to have, and like I said at the beginning of the spiel, is that I don't think Damien's the type of guy to give up, but it's gonna take. You're gonna have to. Dame is gonna have to have a conversation with his family, look himself in the mirror, and say, "Do I still want this anymore?" Um, like I said, man, 12-year NBA career. Um, in total, I looked at this last night too. Regular season games. He's played 900 regular season games, not even 1,000 regular season games. And he was relatively healthy throughout his whole career up until 2021, 2022 when he really started dipping. Um, even with the Bucks, like I said, he played 73 games. He it's so crazy because you think when you get drafted, he got drafted in what year is this? 2012, right? Sixth overall pick. Um, if you tell somebody, hey, by the way, congratulations, you just got drafted. You're gonna play 900 games. That's gonna be your whole career, your whole life. Everything you worked for is going to be condensed into 900 games. It's a crazy thought to have, but to circle back to Damian, is he's gonna have to ask himself if he really wants this, and I think Dame will give it a go after it all is said and done, recovering and rehab and everything. He's going to give it a go. I Do I foresee it on the Bucks? Probably not. And this is a good transition into what does this injury mean for the Bucks as a whole, as a franchise? What does this mean for Giannis Antetokounmpo, the poster boy, the guy for the Bucks, who has been there through many, many events and things and champions. They won a championship. What year is this? 2020, 2021. Um, like I said, this means it's over. This era, I hate to be hyperbolic and I hate to be like very critical, but that it means this is over. The Bucks are done. This era of Bucks basketball is done, as we know it. Um, they put all their eggs in the Damian Lillard, Giannis. Um, how do you say it? Basket. Just that duo. That was your that was your that was your window up until 2026, 2027. Um, because then in 2027, 2028, Giannis has a player option, so he could have just left, and that's when Damian Lillard's contract runs out. Um, you were hoping to at least get to 2027 with this duo, and the duo is effectively done. They never really played playoff games together. Um, when I look at the rest of this roster, um, I am not I am not moved by any of these guys. I like some of these guys. I like them as little role players on like teams like the Bucks if they were better. But like Kyle Kuzma, um, has been terrible this playoffs. Terrible. Brook Lopez, who whenever it seems like his career is ending, he somehow still hangs around. He's still a very, very serviceable center, especially during the postseason. This is the last year of his deal. Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, Kevin Porter Jr., AJ Green, Jericho Sims, Torian Prince, Gary Trent Jr., Andre Jackson, and then the names just get blah. The names get Um, this this team was built to compete. This team was built to go win right now, and this team is not built to say, "Hey, let's wait a year or two for Damian to come back." It's not. And the other conversation, the other very obvious and frankly uncomfortable conversation is when's this next Bucks game? This next Bucks um April 29th. Tomorrow, Tuesday. So when this video comes out. Um oh no, yeah, April 29th. Yeah, when this video comes out, yeah. They're the first game on Tuesday. Yeah, first game on Tuesday. On NBA TV. Will that game be Giannis's last game in a Bucks jersey? Is the question everybody's asking, and everybody's being overreactionary to it, and rightfully so. Um, do I think this is gonna be Giannis's last game in a Bucks jersey? I would say I'm 80% sure it is. Um, the other 20% is that um, they have a conversation um, at the end of this year, going into next year, and Giannis either says, "I want to see what we can do." They're going to get injury exception for Dame for a good sum of money. Who could they bring in to help Giannis in that year? I don't know. This is next year I'm talking about. I don't know. Um, Giannis has always said, and he's been quite honest about it, and to almost a fault, um, said, "I don't know how long I'm going to be a Milwaukee Buck. I'm going to be here as long as we compete." And like I said, their championship window has closed. It's over. Um, does he stay true to his word? Does he go into the front office in a couple months after he's gone on vacation, after he's gone back to Greece, after he's spent some time with his family, and look the GM in the face and look everybody in the front office in their face and say, "I want to be traded when the market opens. Trade me this summer." Does he? Does he? Does he? Does he? Does he do that? I, I don't. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. And like I said, Giannis has is under contract until 2026, 2027, and then in 2027, 2028, he has a player option. So he could literally just walk away. That's not how the NBA works. Players usually don't walk away. They usually want trades because in their mind, it's giving back to the franchise one more time to say, "Hey, I gave you years of service, years and years of service. Um, Here, trade me. You'll get something back. You'll get some draft picks, and then maybe you'll get another star in the draft, and you'll be able to rebuild." That's usually what happens in the NBA, and I think that's what's going to happen. Um, it's sort of a weird point to be at because Giannis is 30. He is going to be, let me see, he's going to be 31 at the beginning of next season. Um, and the thing is, Damian spent a lot of time in Portland, where he made his bones, where he became this all star, where he became an MVP caliber guy. Um, this really where he put his roots down. He was so loyal to Portland. And around when he was 30, the team wasn't great. They weren't giving him enough talent. And you could say the West was obviously the superior conference and everything like that. And he probably, and I'm connecting these two because I'm trying to say Damian probably should have left when he was around 30, 31. He would have had one, two, he would have played four, he would have been 4 years removed from Portland um, to this year. Instead, he left a little bit too late. He left when he was 32. He got traded when he was 32. He played 2 seasons for the Bucks, and now it's over. And Giannis is in a similar situation where you can be loyal. You have been loyal. Giannis has done things that Dame has never dreamed of doing. He brought a championship to the team that drafted him. Giannis is a champion, a 9-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA, 2016, 2017 Most Improved. He was Defensive Player of the Year 2019, 2020. He was the Finals MVP. He was the in-season tournament MVP. He was the All-Star Game MVP. He's a 2-time MVP. He was on the 75th anniversary team. He's all these things, and he's paid his dues in Milwaukee. And he got there when he was 19. Giannis did, a 19-year-old kid from Greece, and now he's 30. And I I have no horse in this race. I'm a big Giannis fan. I like Giannis. I've always liked Giannis. I think he's the kind of guy that's like funny and goofy, but also takes this game very seriously. Like Dame, they both love this game. I think it's time to do this in the most courteous way possible. Do this in the most respectful way possible, and walk into that front office and say, "Get me out of here. It's over. I'm gonna be 31 beginning next season. I want to be somewhere else. I want to spend these last couple years, these next 4 or 5 years, competing somewhere else." And that brings me to my final point here, um, or one of my final points. Um, who could Giannis? Where could Giannis go? I have the odds here from bookies.com. Um, Giannis Antetokounmpo 2025 next team odds. Um, the top one's the Miami Heat. The second one's the Clippers. Third one's New Orleans Pelicans. The fourth one is Oklahoma. Then after that, we get Golden State. You get New York. You get Houston. You get San Antonio. Those are the top ones. Um, I would, I, I would. Clippers are interesting. I don't know how they would get that done. Um, I think, I think the biggest team that isn't on here that could trade for him is the Buck. Is the not the Bucks. The Nets. Pardon me. Another four team. Another four. Another short word team is the Nets. The other teams I like in no particular order is Houston, New York. It's always been theorized he would go to New York if he was to ask for a trade. I think the situation that the Knicks are in, I don't think they need Giannis. I think Cat is that guy that they've wanted for so long, a solid big who can make his own shot and do all these things. Um, I like Golden State objectively as a Golden State fan. I don't know how you get that deal done either. I think you would have to do a sign and trade with Jonathan Kuminga to Milwaukee. Does he want to go to Milwaukee? I don't know. And the other one, I think the optimal one that came after New York was Oklahoma. But if Oklahoma just swept the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies were beat up, and they weren't that good of a team, they're going to have to play the Clippers in the next round or the Nuggets in the next round. The Thunder are. They don't need Giannis, so it's a tough situation to be in. Um, we're going to have to revisit this conversation after the playoffs and see what teams are disappointed in their run, what teams maybe were just one guy short, and that one guy could be Giannis. I don't know, but the last thing I want to say is somebody pointed this out on Twitter, and it was scary. It was so interesting, and I'll pull it up right now for you guys. This is the last thing about Damian Lillard is that somebody found this. uh, a user on Twitter at Nova X No Mask um, said 1 year ago to the day, and look, and oh, Damian Lillard tore his Achilles this time, and he pulled up a tweet from Shams Charania from this month, the 27th, but in 2024, when it says Damian Lillard has suffered a strained Achilles. He's in a walking boot. There's some serious doubt over his overall availability for Game 4. This is last year, though. So to the day, on the 27th of April, or not April, what are we? No, we're in April, right? Yeah, April, yeah, the 27th of April. Um, he strained his Achilles, and then 1 year later, he tore the thing. Um, crazy, crazy stuff. When I saw that, my jaw like actually dropped. I was like, what? That's crazy. Um, yeah, man. Um, what was I gonna say? Prayers for Dame, man. He doesn't deserve this. He always seemed like a good guy to me. I've had my problems with not Dame but Damian Lillard fans. They kind of overrated him at times, but you never want to see anybody tear their Achilles. Um, and in the fashion that he did it, in the way he did it, because he came back from all odds that he was not going to play at all for the rest of the season. Came back, gave it a go, and then just end up in the situation is awful. Yeah, and we will revisit this Giannis situation after the playoffs, and that will be a whole fun thing to monitor this season. But that is it for this video. If you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment them down below and all that good stuff. Um, thank you for what. There's been so many injuries this year. I hate talking about it, but hopefully this is the last one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.